Okay, Rima, I think we can start the short lesson now. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So we don't wait for the others. Okay. Sometimes they they may not come sometimes. Okay. So let's look at the first question now. This okay now you may want to turn on your video so I can see you better. Yeah. So okay, now this lesson is recorded. So what happened is you can watch it. Let's say you don't understand any part of the lesson, you can watch it, all right? Watch it anytime, all right, just to revise. All right, now we are going to look at 4 problems. Okay, 4 problems, and there are different kinds of method that we can use to solve problems. So one of the method that we want to use is called the table method, right? Table method. Of course, you won't know what is it until I tell you later. So how to use a table method? All right, so we read the question first. I don't know whether you have this kind of question in your India syllabus. So Alan had 1/5, which is a fraction, right? 1/5 as many marbles as Ben at first. Then after Ben gave Alan 42 marbles, both of them have equal number of marbles, and that is in the end, right? In the end, they have equal number of marbles in the end. So how many marbles did Alan and Ben have altogether? So do you have this kind of problem in your India syllabus? You may want to turn on your mic.
Not in India syllabus, but we are doing it with our students.
Yeah, so this will be quite hard. It's actually a hard problem. So how do we solve this problem? So we have methods to help the students to think lesser, so that they don't feel frustrated in how to solve the problem. All right, so the method is table method. What is a table method? Now it means that you have a table, like rows and columns. Okay, the first step to apply this method is to have rows and columns like this. Yeah, it's like a tic-tac-toe, no tic-tac-toe. So rows and columns. So what do we put inside the table? Now, this question is a before, right? Before and after. So in our Singapore syllabus, we have problems which are called before and after problems. Before means at first. So you put down the before, B for before. And where is the after? After means in the end. So in the end, they have equal number of marbles in the end. So what do we call in the end? We call it after, right? So after means how many marbles they have in the end. So it's a before and after problem. So in Singapore syllabus, we have quite a number of questions which are before and after problems. All right, and then there's something that happened in the middle, change. There's something that happened in between. What happened in between? All right, now this table, we need to put labels, like who are the people? The people are called Alan and Ben. So you have to label the person. A for Alan, B for Ben. And there is a total that we must have, total. So first step is to draw a table, put the letters there, label the person. All right, then what's the next step? The next step is to put numbers into the boxes, numbers, right? So far you are clear, right? Yeah, so the next step is to put numbers. So let's put the numbers there. So you always start from the first sentence. Alan has 1/5 as many as Ben. So in our Singapore syllabus, we look at the fraction and we break them apart. We break them apart so that it's easier for them to solve. So Alan has 1, we call it 1 unit, and then Ben has 5 units. Okay, 5 units. And the total they have altogether is 6 units. Yeah. So fractions, what do we do with the fractions? We break them apart so that each person has 1 and then the other person has 5. All right, then go to the next sentence, right? Ben gave Alan 42 marbles. So you look at Ben. So what happened to Ben? Gave away means minus 42. Gave away. So when you give away, you have lesser. And then Alan takes 42. So Alan plus 42. Plus. Yeah, so you can see that there's a minus, there's a plus there. All right. And then what happened in the end? In the end, which is the after, in the end, they have equal number of marbles. Okay, so what do we put in the after boxes? We put 1 parts. So you have something called parts and units. In our Singapore syllabus, we have something called parts and units. Okay, so there's a lot of things in Singapore to learn. Yeah, parts and units. Yeah. So we use parts to label something, units to label something else. So in the end, they have 1 part and 1 part. Each person has 1 part. Total, they have altogether in the end is 2 parts altogether. Right? You can see that I'm not solving. I'm just putting the numbers in the boxes, which is the whole idea. Okay, how many marbles did Alan and Ben have altogether? So your table must have question mark. So total, they have how many altogether? Question mark, right? And that's it. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's our table ready. Yeah, your table is done. Yeah, okay, there's no solving at this point of time. It's just to put the numbers inside, right? Put numbers in the boxes. And then once you have put the numbers inside already, then what happens? A good table, no need to look at the question. Yeah, there's no need to look at the question. You just look at the look at the table and then you get the answer there. All right, so whenever you have a before and after problem, right? In Singapore syllabus, we need to ask a question, right? What is unchanged? If it's a before and after problem, what is unchanged? So in this problem, the total is unchanged, right? Because Ben gave away to Alan, right? Is their total still the same? Still the same, right? Like I give to you, I have lesser, you have more, but when we add our bits together, it's still the same total. So the total is still the same. So if the total is still the same, then you look at the 6 unit and the 2 parts, they are equal. All right, equal. Equal means what? Still the same. So your 2 parts is equal to 6 unit, equal, right? Then in Singapore syllabus, what do we always want to do? We always want to find what is the value of 1 part. Like what is 1 part? So 1 part is 6 divided by 2. 1 part is 3 unit. That is what we always try to do in our syllabus. We try to get the value of 1 part or 1 unit. Once we know that 1 part is 3 unit, then what happens? 1 part, 3 unit, 1 part, 3 unit, and the total in the end will be 6 unit. So the total is the same at first and after. Yeah. And then you look at the table again, and then you can, what else can we do? Now, then you will need to learn something about the table. You will need to know how the table works. The table can flow downwards, which is Alan has 1 unit at first, right? 1 unit. So he received 42, and now he gets 3 units. So what do you do next? So I think the next step is to find what is 2 units. So your 2 units will be what? 2 units will be 42 because 3 unit minus 1 unit, you get 2 units. And the next step is to find the value of 1 unit. That is the purpose of our Singapore syllabus, to find the value. What is the value of 1 unit? 42 divided by 2, this is the value. And then we can solve already. Yeah, we use that to solve the problem. So what is their total? How many they have all together? Which is 6 units. So they have 6 units all together. So 21 times 6. And altogether, they have 126 altogether. And that's it. That's how you get the answer. So it's a method that is important because why? Because if you don't know how to draw the model, like in Singapore syllabus, we have something called model drawing, right? It's a big method, how to draw a model for problems like this. What happens if we don't know how to draw the model? Is there a backup? Yeah, is there a backup method? There's a backup method, which is called the table method, which is what you're seeing now. So this is your alternative method. Yeah, so that's how you get the answer without even looking at the question. Yeah, I think there's someone who came in. Is it Jenny? Jenny, you came in, right, Jenny? Somebody came in. Yeah, you want to turn on your video? But by the way, just to let you know that it's a Zoom focus. So if you turn on your video, nobody can see you, right? Except me, except me. So your privacy is still maintained. Right? Nobody can see your background. Yeah, so that's how you get work out the answer using the method, tabulation method. Yeah, so this is just the first problem only. Okay, so let's look at the second one. All right, by the way, this whole lesson is not to teach you how to use a method. It's just to show you, right? Show you how the method is like. All right, so you will need a few hours to learn about this method. All right, but it's just to show you how the method looks like. Okay, let's go to the second one, and it gets a little harder. And it's a primary 6 problem. So in Singapore, you have primary 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Primary 6 is the highest level, the most difficult problems. Okay, now, so let's read the question, and then you'll find that it's very hard, very complicated. And many students, they find that they don't know how to solve because it's too hard for them. And especially when they don't have any methods, they get very lost. So Sherry and Leah went shopping together with a total sum of $324. So that is at first. At first, they have so much money. All right, so let's call it the before. So we have to recognize that it is a before and after. you must have a before and after problem in order to use the method, right? Otherwise, we can't use this method. Sherry spent twice as much as Leah. Okay. And the amount Leah had left was $27 more than what she had spent, which is the after, right after. So she had twice as much money left as Sherry, which is in the end also. So this is the after statement. So this question is a before and after. How much they have at first, and then how much they have in the end. So very complicated, right? For a primary 6 person, primary 6 student. So how much money did Leah spend? And how much money did Sherry have at first? Okay, so very hard to start. We don't know how to start. So what is the method? All right, so you must think, all right? So we think about the method. Every time in when we do problem solving, we look at the question and then we think, all right, so what method can I use? Can I draw model? So if I cannot draw model, don't know how to draw model, then I will need to think of other kinds of methods. So, okay, how about the table method? All right, so let's use the table method, which is your rows and columns. Okay, rows and columns. All right, it's gonna be quite interesting, right? Interesting. There's a lot of things to learn, okay? And it makes everything quite simple. So before, change, after. So what is your before? Before means at first. How much they have at first. Change means what happened. Okay, what happened? After means in the end, they have how much left in the end, after. Okay, so before, change, after. And you must have at least 2 persons to compare. So there are 2 persons, Sherry and Leah. And of course, you have total, right? Total. Okay, so now let's put the numbers inside. So read the first sentence. Sherry and Leah went shopping together with a total sum of $324. So you must put the numbers in the right place, in the right box. You put in the wrong box, then you find that you're confused already, cannot solve. All right, do we know how much they have at first? Each of them has at first? We are not sure. So we can leave the boxes empty. All right, so go to the next sentence. Sherry spent twice. What is twice? 2 times. So it means that Sherry spent minus 2 times, 2 unit. Twice as much as Leah, which is 1 unit. Okay, twice. So you have units. And where are we now? So we are somewhere here already, right? The amounts that Leah had left. So which box are you looking at? So you're looking at this box. You're not looking at this box already. So the amount that Leah had left was $27 more than what she spent. So how do you put inside? So 27 more than what she spent, which is 1 unit. She spent 1 unit. So isn't that 1 unit plus $27 more? That is the money that she has left. Okay, the money that she has left. Okay, continue reading. She had twice as much money left as Sherry. So Leah has twice as much left. So which means that Leah has 2 times. Now we call 2 parts, right? We can't call units. We have to use a different term. So Leah has 2 times as much money left as Sherry. So Sherry has 1 part. Okay, got it? Yeah, so this is the after, right? The after. Okay, so how much money did Leah spend? So your question mark. Okay, and how much money did Sherry have at first, which is the second question mark. Finish. That's a table. Yeah, no solving. All right, not yet. Okay, not yet. Just put numbers inside. Okay, once you've done the table already, all right, everything is all done nicely. Then we don't have to look at the question. And then we look at the table and a few things to learn. What things do we learn? We learned that in the workshop, which I will conduct right in a few weeks' time, we learned that in the same box, right? Same box. Okay, in the same box, what do you have? You have 2 parts in the same box as 1 unit and $27. So what does that mean? It means that 1 unit is the same. Oh, sorry, 2 parts. Okay, 2 parts is the same. Same means equal. Equal to what? 1 unit and $27. Same box. Same box means what? They are equal. All right, they are equal. Okay, let me just remove this line. Okay, so they are in the same box, so they're equal to each other. All right, so what's the next step? The next step is to find the value again. The value is always to find the value of 1 part or 1 unit. So what is 1 part? 1 part will be divided by 2. So 1 divided by 2, you get half a unit. And then we use calculator, right? Primary 6 students, they can use calculator. So 27 divided by 2, and what do you get? You will get $13.50. which is the value of one part. Okay, and you can put inside here 0.5 unit and $13.50, which is Sherry, right? Sherry has one part left, which is also half a unit and $13.50. Yeah, okay, all right. So what's the next step? I'm not looking at the question, I'm just looking at the table. The next step is the table can flow backwards. Working backwards, flow backwards. Okay, so how do you work backwards? Okay, now, so Sherry has how much at first? So the minus 2 unit, when you work backwards, become plus 2 units. So half a unit plus 2 unit, that will give you 2.5 units, right? So half a unit work backwards, minus become plus 2 unit, you get 2.5 units, and Sherry must have 2 units and $13.50 at first, working backwards. Okay, this part is important. You must know how to work backwards to fill in the box. All right, how about the other one? How about Leah? Same thing, work backwards. So you take 1 unit and the minus 1 unit become plus 1 unit. So you get 2 unit and $27. So Leah has 2 unit and $27 at first. Okay, clear? Right, so it's not very hard to fill in the box. Okay, then finally, what can you do? The table can flow left to right. Okay, left to right. So together, they have how much at first together? So you take Sue's money or Sherry's money, 2.5 unit plus $13.50, add together with Leah's money, which is 2 unit and $27. Add them together, that will be $324. So this is how the table works. The table can flow. It can flow like a river, right? Left to right, flow backwards, flow downwards. Yeah, that's how the table flows. All right. Once you understand that, it helps you to write out the statements. Okay, what's the next step after you have written the statement? You look at your statement and you add the units, right? So 2.5 units plus 2 units, what do you get? You will get 4.5 units. Right, 2.5 unit plus 2 unit will be 4.5 unit, $13.50 plus $27. So what do you get? You will get $40.50. So you do the next step carefully. And the total is $324. All right, you can see that at all times, I'm not looking at the question. So what's the next step? The next step is to find what is 4.5 unit. What is 4.5 unit, which is what we need to do before we can find the value of 1 unit, right? So you take the total, which is 324, and you minus $40.50, and you will get $283.50, which is 4.5 units. Then how do you find the value of 1 unit? You divide. You take 283.50, divide by 4.5, and you will get $63. And this is the whole idea. This is why we work so hard to get the value of 1 unit. And once you get that, you can solve already. Right? So how much did Leah spend? So Leah spent 1 unit. You can see right here. How much did Leah spend? So Leah spent 1 unit and you got your part A answer. So your part A answer is $63. Leah spent $63. And how much money did Sherry have at first? So where is your part B? Your part B is to find how much is this, right? How much is this box? So there'll be 2.5 units, right? So how much is 2.5 unit? So 2.5 unit will be, you take 63 and you times 2.5, right? And you get $157.50, which is 2.5 units. But don't forget to add, right? Don't forget to take 157.50 plus $13.50 in the box. And that will give you how much does Sherry's money have at first. Okay, and your answer will be $171, which is your part B. Part B. So you got your answer already. Yeah. So it's a little different. The way of solving is like the solving is maybe a bit different to you, but it is what we do in schools, what we do in Singapore. Right? In Singapore, we have different methods of solving. So methods help us to break down the problem and help us to really think more effectively and not to spend so much time trying to work out these steps, right? So that's why we have methods in Singapore to help us to solve faster and better. Yeah. Okay, so this is how we use a table to solve this kind of problem. So let's look at one more. As we keep looking at the questions, 2 more questions to go, it gets harder and harder, harder and harder. So that's a difficulty that our students are facing. The syllabus is very demanding, it's very intensive. So I feel sorry for them because it's really hard for them to solve sometimes. Okay, so let's look at the next one. Okay, the next one. And in this question, we will understand why we will be able to appreciate why we need to have this table, because to draw model, right? We can use model drawing. Do you know what is model drawing? Rima, have you seen what is model drawing?
Yes.
Yeah, so it's very popular in Singapore, model drawing, very common, but we can't draw model for everything. Sometimes it's too hard to draw. So this question is one example. It's a bit too hard to draw. Okay, so then if we can't draw the model or we don't know how to draw the model, we will need to change our methods. So there were altogether 452 bits in boxes A, B, C, D at first. Immediately, this is a before, right? 15 bits were taken out of box A, 31 more bits were put into box B, and the number of bits in box C was doubled, and half the bits in box D were removed. Very complicated. Yeah. There was an equal number of bits in each box in the end, and this is the after. So you have a before and after. And once you recognize that it's a before and after, you can use your table method. Okay, so find the number of bits in box C at first. And how many more bits did box D have than box A at first? Okay, so if I can't draw the model, which I tell my students, if I can't draw the model, then I will need to have a different way of doing. So I will have a table. And in this table, it's going to be quite special because you can have 4 boxes inside, right? In the earlier 2 problems, you have 2 person, right? 2 person. But in this problem, you can see that there are more than 2 boxes. So we have box A, box B, box C, and box D, and the total. Yeah, so you have a big table. Okay, so this table is good because it can have more than 2 boxes, more than 2 things. All right, now we put the numbers inside. There were altogether 432 bits altogether. So this is the total at first. Okay, do I know how many in box A, B, C, D at first? I don't know, but I know the total. So I put inside the box. All right, so that's the first sentence. 15 bits were taken out of box A. So you have to minus. All right, 31 more bits were put into box B. So you have to plus, means you get more, right? You get more, so plus 31. The number of bits in box C was doubled. Double means you have to times 2, right? Doubled means 2 times or times 2. And half the bits in box D were removed. So you must have chopped into half or divided by half. So divide by 2, right? So no solving, just put numbers inside. And then in the end, there were an equal number of bits in each box in the end. So 1 unit, 1 unit, 1 unit, everyone has equal. And the total in the end is 4 units. Okay? And find the number of bits in box C at first. So how many bits in box C? Question mark. So this is where I put the question mark for part A. And how many more bits did box D have than box A at first? Now for part B, I have difficulty putting the question mark. So if I have difficulty putting the question mark, then we don't have to put the question mark, right? Don't force yourself to put the question mark inside if we don't know how to put. Okay, and the table is done. Finish. Yeah, no solving, just put numbers inside. Okay, once you're done already, then a good table, you should be able to draw out the statements, right? By looking at the table, how do you know it's a good table? You pull the steps out and get the answer. Okay, so this is how you do it, okay? The table can flow, right? It can flow in different ways. It can flow backwards. So how many bits in box A at first? So you work backwards, minus become plus. So 1 unit, plus 15. working backwards. So box A has 1 unit and 15 at first. Box B, flow again, flow backwards. So 1 unit minus 31 because you work backwards. Okay, box C, work backwards, times 2 becomes divide by 2. So 1 unit divided by 2, that will be half a unit. Box D, flow backwards, divide by 2 become times 2. So 1 unit times 2. You will get 2 units of bits in box D at first. Clear? Right? So you fill in the boxes one by one. Okay, once you've done all that already, then we create a statement and the table can flow left to right. Add up all the boxes together, that will give you the total, which is 452. So we add all the boxes together. Okay, so let's add the boxes together. So box A, 1 unit plus 15, plus box B, 1 unit minus 31, plus box C, plus box D, and the total is 452. Okay, then you add up. Okay, what's the next step? All right, add the units. Add all the units together. So 1 unit plus 1 unit is 2 unit. 2 unit plus 0.5 unit is 2.5. 2.5 plus 2 unit will be 4.5 unit. Add all the units together. All right, 15 minus 31. Okay, 15 minus 31 will be minus 16 using calculator. So in our syllabus, the students can use calculator. 15 minus 31 equal, there's a negative 16 there. And what is the total? The total is 452. So again, we have to find the value of 1 unit. But before that, we need to know how many is 4.5 units. What is 4.5 unit? So that will be total 452 plus 16, and that will be equal to what? So 452 plus 16, and you will get 468, which is the value of 4.5 units. So what is the next step? The next step is 1 unit. So you can see that we don't have to struggle to think of the steps in our mind. We write the steps and you can see the next step is quite easy, right? We can write out the next step quite easily without thinking very hard. So what is 1 unit? You take 468 divided by 4.5 and you get the value of 1 unit. And this is why, again, this is the objective, right? Objective of using the method to get the answer later on. All right, so now can we find part A? So what is part A? So how many bits in box C at first? So box C has half a unit at first. So what is half a unit? So half a unit is 104 divided by 2. And your answer is 52. That is your part A already, half a unit. Okay, now part B, all right, how do we do for part B? Okay, part B, you're supposed to compare. How many more bits did box D have than box A at first? So can we find box D has how many? Box D has 2 units. Okay, box D has 2 units. So 2 units must be 104. So you always go back to this. This is the whole idea, to get the value of 1 unit and use that to find whatever that we want to find. So box D has 2 units. So 104 times 2, 208. That is box D. Then how about box A? Box A has 1 unit plus 15. So box A has 1 unit plus 15, which is 104 plus 15. So box A has 119. Okay, 119. So box D has how many more than box A at first? Then can we find, or can we solve already? 208 minus 119. And that will give you part B. Right? So 208 minus 119, you can see that box D has you can see that box A has how many more than box D at first, which is 89 more. So that's your part B. Okay, so all these are done without looking at the question. Yeah. So to understand this method, of course, it doesn't take 1 hour today to learn all these things. You will need a few hours, not very long, just about 2 hours on, right? Not a long time to learn this thing, but definitely not in this 1 hour time, 1 hour lesson. So this question is about, in Singapore, it's about 4 marks. I think 4 marks, 4-mark question. Yeah, and it's considered as a complicated question for most of them. So this is how we break down the problem to solve the problem using the table method. All right. So yeah, that's how you can see that it's actually quite effective, right? The method makes everything quite effective, and I don't really think very hard. I don't know about I don't really think very hard to solve, right? I just have a method. I use the method and then go through the process of the method, and the method will guide you, and then you think lesser. Yeah, that is the whole idea, right? The method guides you, so you don't struggle to come up with the steps. All right, now let's look at the last one. Okay, the last one, and this is the grand finale, the hardest of all, right? So for this question, there's a ratio, there's a fraction. So in Singapore syllabus, we have different kinds of topics. We have ratio, fractions, and even percentage. So there are all kinds of topics in this problem. And so let's read the question. So cupcakes and muffins were baked for a party at the beginning. That is at first. Okay, at the beginning means before, right? That's the before already. So the ratio of the cupcakes to the muffin was 3:4. Right, so this is called ratio. There's a ratio over here. During the party, 2/3 of all the cupcakes and muffins were eaten. Okay, the ratio of the cupcakes that were eaten to the cupcakes that were left was 4:5. I think most of us are lost already. Don't know how to start solving. So what fraction of the muffins was eaten? And there were 81 more cupcakes than muffins left. So how many cupcakes were there at first? Okay, it's complicated, but not to worry, because once you understand what you have available, then you just have to use it. So the table method, right? This is a before and after. All right, so what do? Do the same thing. Draw rows and columns. Okay, rows and columns. This is the process. What's the first step in going through the process? Is to have rows and columns, put letters there, right? Before, change after, and there must be at least two kinds of things to compare. So you must have at least two kinds, cupcakes and muffins, right? Must have at least two kinds. If there's only one type, we can't use a table. And the total. Okay, so that's the first step. All right, what's the next step? The next step is to put the numbers into the boxes. That's the next step. All right, so look at the first sentence. Can we put anything in the first sentence? Cupcakes and muffins were baked for a party. There's nothing to put inside. No numbers there. So we skip to the next sentence. At the beginning, which is the before, the ratio of cupcakes to the muffin was 3:4:7. And what do we call them? We can't put 3, because you put 3, it means you have 3 cupcakes only. Right, we can't use 3. We can't put 3 like that. We have to put 3 units, 4 units, 7 units. This is what we learn in the Singapore syllabus, right? Units. Okay, so we are done for this sentence. Go to the next one. During the party, 2/3 of all the cupcakes and muffins were eaten. Now, in the Singapore syllabus, there's a fraction. We learn fractions. So there is a family of fractions, family sets. If there's a 2/3, there must be a 1/3. There must be a 3/3, right? So 2/3 of all the cupcakes and muffins were left. Isn't that minus 2/3? Sorry, were eaten, right? 2/3 of all the cupcakes and muffins were eaten. So you must have eaten minus 2/3. Then the total cupcakes and muffins at first must be 3/3. And the total cupcakes and muffins that were left must be 1/3. There's a family set, family of fractions here. Okay, this will be explained in the workshop also. Right now, maybe a bit, a bit confusing now, but it will be explained in the workshop. Okay, then go to the next one. The ratio of the cupcakes that were eaten to the cupcakes that were left was 4:5. So where do you put the 4:5? Cupcakes that were eaten, that is 4, but minus 4, because you eat, right? So you minus 4 parts, right? You have to call parts already. And 5 parts of cupcakes were left. So 4:5. So you're using parts to label them. So you have parts and units. Okay, so you're done with the whole story. So where's the question mark? What fraction of the muffins was eaten? I can't put the question mark for part A, so I don't put inside. Okay, part B. There were 81 more cupcakes than muffins left. How many cupcakes were there at first? Yeah, I can put a question mark there. And the table is done for this very hard problem. Okay, so what is a good table? A good table is when you have make sure that you have put all the numbers inside in the right boxes. Then you look at the table and you look carefully, right? And you pull out the statements. So let's pull out the statements from the table without looking at the question. Okay, this is quite interesting. This is quite fun. You flow backwards. Table can flow backwards. 5 parts minus become plus 4 parts. That will give you how many parts of cupcakes at first? 9 parts. Okay, 9 parts of cupcakes at first. And you can see this box. What's in the box? You have something in the same box. 3 units is in the same box as 9 parts, which is equal. Same box means they are equal. So can you find 1 unit? Again, that's the purpose. What is the value of 1 unit? One unit must be 3 parts. Okay, so if 1 unit is 3 parts, okay, then my 4 units of muffins at first must be how many parts? Must be 12 parts. So I must have 12 parts of muffins at first. Okay, and how many muffins and cupcakes all together at first? I must have 21 parts all together at first. And to make the table not so cluttered with unnecessary things, I can cancel the units because they are not important anymore. I don't need them anymore, so I can cancel them. So the whole table is all parts already. Okay, then I look at another box and I see something quite interesting, which is something in the same box. The fraction and the 21 parts is in the same box. So which means that my 3/3 is the same or equal to 21 parts. Same box, equal. So can I find what is 1/3? So 1/3 is how many parts? 1/3 must be 7 parts. So if 1/3 is 7 parts, then how many cupcakes and muffins in the end? How many parts of cupcakes and muffins in the end? Isn't that 7 parts of cupcakes and muffins in the end? Right? You have 1/3 of cupcakes and muffins all together in the end, which is 7 parts. All right, then I can find a lot of things already. You can see there are some boxes that are empty. So can I fill in the empty boxes? Yeah, I can fill in the empty boxes. Can I find how many cupcakes and muffins were eaten? I must have eaten 21 parts minus 7 parts. I must have eaten 14 parts of cupcakes and muffins. Okay, and there are still some more empty boxes there. So can I fill in the empty boxes? How many muffins were there in the end? Oh, there must be 2 parts of muffins in the end. Because the total 7 parts minus 5 parts, I get 2 parts of muffins in the end. All right, can I find how many muffins were eaten? 12 parts minus 2 parts over here. I must have eaten 10 parts of muffins. So now the table becomes more clear, very clear. So I can solve the problem by looking at part A. Let's look at part A. So what fraction of the muffins was eaten? So how do we get the fraction? You look at the table, look for muffins. There are altogether 12 parts of muffins at first. So what fraction of the muffins was eaten? So how many parts of muffins do you eat? 10 parts. So that's your fraction, 10 out of 12. And what is the simplest form? So in the Singapore syllabus, we have to simplify our fractions, right? Whatever fractions we get, we need to simplify. So we divide by 2 and divide by 2, and we get 5/6, part A. That's our part A already. Yeah, okay. Now part B, how do we do part B? Also not very hard. Part B, you can see that if you look carefully, there were 81 more cupcakes than muffins left. So you're comparing. So you're now comparing the cupcakes left and the muffins left. So how many more parts of cupcakes than muffins left? There must be 3 parts left, 3 parts more. So there must be 3 parts more cupcakes than muffins left. And 3 parts is equal to 81 more, right? 3 parts is equal to 81 more. So can we find what is 1 part? So 1 part must be 81 divided by 3. So again, this is the idea, the whole idea of whatever method that we use to find the value of 1 unit or 1 part. And once we can find the value, then can we find how many cupcakes at first? Yes, we can, because you look at the question mark, there are 9 parts of cupcakes at first. So 27 times 9, right? So 27 times 9, and you must have 243 cupcakes at first. Yeah, and that's it. Yeah, that's it's a bit messy on my steps. Yeah, but hopefully the explanation is clear. But you can see that you can see what I'm trying to show. I'm trying to show that in Singapore now we need to know methods. We need to know our methods, because if we don't know methods, it's going to be very hard to do well for our math. Yeah, so that's why we always focus a lot on methods. So one of the methods that we teach them is table method for before and after problems. And of course, you have other kinds of methods like model drawing, which is the biggest of all, right? The biggest method of all. And that will take a series of lessons. We also have other methods like assumption method, systematic listing, which I don't know whether you heard of it. A lot of different kinds of methods. But I'll be talking about all these in the months to come. Yeah, so this is the whole idea of what I'm doing, is to show you that there's something called table method. And once you understand that, then it helps you to solve problems more effectively the next time. Yeah. Okay, any questions? So
thank you very much for the workshop. It was very interesting.
Yeah, it's not really a workshop. It's more like a short lesson. Short lesson.
Yeah, it was really, I learned a lot today.
Yeah, so I don't know whether you can apply in your India syllabus, but something extra for you lah, something extra. Yeah, so not to worry, because every Friday I'll be doing something like this every Friday. So if you're interested, you can always come online to find out more things. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I will see you again right in the next Friday. I think yeah. So I will be recording this lesson, by the way. So I'll put it up. I will send out to everybody, and then those who never come, they can also watch it as well. Yeah. So you can also revise. You can also watch it again, right? If you feel there's a need to watch it. Yeah. Okay. So have a good day. I'll see you the next lesson. Okay. Yeah. Goodbye.
Goodbye.